Hello everyone, welcome back to more Space Engineers, my survival challenge and vanilla, well, technically the vanilla game. No mods, no nothing like that. So I went ahead and got 2 handfuls of stone so that we could get some more ignites moving, like some more iron and nickel and all that, so we could start building more of our stuff here. I'm gonna try to move this interior plate to the top because we need those to put together our wind turbines, and I want to get those started because we do need power before we can do anything else anyway, so we might as well get those started here. So here's what I have for the base so far. Just a little giant T with 2 wind turbines on top. You do want them a little ways off the ground or they will not be very functional. Yes, we're on a mountaintop here a little bit, but even so, you know, there's still a slight chance that you won't get a whole lot of wind clearance unless they're up a lot in the sky. Now, the only thing that's really like within viewing distance that could be causing a problem is all the way over there where my cursor is. But even then, it's not really going to cause much of a problem. As long as you have a completely open area around you other than that, you'll be fine, and you'll get enough wind for these to work. Now, one thing I didn't mention when I put them down is if you take your wind turbine and just kind of try to place it. I don't have interior plates, so it's not gonna let me, but say you try to place it like that, it'll fall onto your grid, sure, but it won't connect, and so it won't do anything. And so what you have to do is you have to make sure that you're aiming at one of your steel plates before you actually hit to do it. And I'm gonna keep opening the menu because for some reason I think that hitting escape should empty your hands, but it doesn't. So yeah. Let's see how much of the materials we got for that thing. Oh, we got enough to build at least one of them. So you could build a system to get you up there, like either like a ladder or a ramp out of these blocks, and then you climb up there. But since we're on a planet that doesn't have too much gravity, we'll go ahead and just use the jetpack. Alright, so we got that one started, and that one didn't get much out of that either. Okay, so as you can tell, now that you've started building on this, now we know exactly what else we need. And if we go into our build menu here again, we can see that our build planner doesn't update. Like, I actually was the one who put these here. As you add stuff to it, your build planner does not update to what is needed and what is not. So whenever you you know, want to make sure you have the correct stuff to put into your builds, you might want to go ahead and hit right click on the stuff that you've already started building on, and then right click it again so that it can update the components you need. Because if you don't do that for whatever reason, whenever you go to collect it out of the machine, because you can do that, you can just collect it from your survival kit as it makes it and put it into the device. But if you just keep grabbing it and it doesn't give you all the components, it won't update this, and when you finish it, this won't go away. This build planner will stay here, and the next time you go to actually set stuff in production, if you don't clear it, it'll say, oh hey, you wanted more of this, right? And you're like, oh god damn it, no I didn't. So yeah, just keep that in mind, because you don't want to make a mistake and be like, oh well, now I have to just do this all over again. So like if I middle mouse on this right now, it says that it grabbed components. It grabbed the components for this. Let's see, do we have any components left? And it grabbed some components that were for the, actually I think since I put those No, I left them in there. And it grabbed the stuff for the wind turbines. So if we come up here and try to build on the wind turbine, we'll use up whatever items we had left that we still needed for these. And then be like, oh, okay, so what do we have left in here now? Just interior plates. See, all the stuff that we needed got put in there, so now we can come back and see if there's any more that we can grab. Which looks like the answer is no, so we're gonna do more mining. So let's go do some more mining. So the maximum amount of stone that you can carry on your person at one time with the default bag size for your guy's character is 2.7 kilograms of stone, which I don't know exactly how much that is in terms of just raw stone, because like if you look at stone on the ground, it'll say 140, 156, 31.7, blah blah blah. It tells it in weight, and so it makes it sound like it's actually like you're picking up 120 units. So yeah, that's interesting that you got it in ways like that, you know. And say you don't want to have the stone you have on you, you can always just go hup and drop it like that, and it'll become this huge piece, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, you always have that option. If ever you say, oh, I don't need all this stone, why do I have all this stone? You can just drop it whenever you want by dragging it out of the menu. Alright, let's see if that's enough to get us started on the next thing. Probably not, though. See, we've been filling it up with stone every single time. And since it doesn't use up all the stone at a really good rate of stuff, it kind of sucks. And it also puts back any materials you have if you do it that way. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. It won't hurt you if that happens. But yeah, we want to make sure the girders are being built. And I don't know why we have displays being built. I don't think that's for that thing. I guess we can put the motors next so we can get those. Now motors are pretty heavy, unfortunately. If ever you have any device that requires motors, recognize that you're going to be coming back and forth to grab the motors, unfortunately. So we're almost out of iron again, so we're going to have to go grab more, unfortunately. So we'll go do that in just a second here. But first I'm going to go ahead and just grab that and see if we got any of the stuff for this from that. So we don't need any more girders at all, really. So yeah, so now, since we know we don't need any more girders, we can come in here to our build plans, see if they still ask for them. They don't, so we're good. So all it should be asking for is the motors. Good. So it does kind of update it. Okay, good. That's good to know. So, hup. And let's go mine some more so we can get our motors created. We're going to need a lot of stone for that, though. So I'll be right back. Actually, real quick. Let me pick all this up here real fast. So, see how we have dirt? A little bit of stone here, like a little bit of like stone gravel look to it. And then we have all this stone here on the actual ground. This is actual stone, like will always give you a good chunk of stone digging into it. Digging into dirt and stuff like grass and stuff gives you, let's see if I can get some from this. There we go. Gives you about 65. While digging into this gives you about 160 to 286. Like it gives you bigger chunks of it. So if you're ever digging and you find yourself with just dirt, just right click until all this dirt turns into the actual stone if you want to get the most production possible for your buck.
Inventory full.
Like, it's not going to hurt you to use the dirt stone, but just know that if you want to be more proficient in getting a whole bunch of stone, grab the gray stone. Don't worry about the dirt and grass stone. It just isn't very reliable. So as you can tell, it's starting to get a little dark in the game as well. When that happens, the only thing that really changes is that if you had solar panels, they stop being effective. Let's see, what else? The temperature will start to drop eventually, I think, in most cases. And so when the temperature drops, you will get a problem where, you know, obviously you will have to wait. Like, you will have to constantly come up to this survival kit and get yourself recharged. Now, a good thing about putting in the cockpit instead of the passenger seat is we can get into the cockpit, and the cockpit, since it's covered, has a chance of keeping you warmer easier. And once you get the ship powered, which right now it is powered, it's just with a battery, you know, like, here, let me pull this up real quick. So, yeah, the battery's done, it doesn't even count on this, apparently. Let me see. Or does it? Let's see. It's going to be here in the thing. No, it doesn't even count towards the grid. That's weird. Usually once you build this cockpit in, it actually will contribute to the grid, but we can always just tear this all down and rebuild it, and that'll work just fine. So if you ever find yourself being like, it's just not connecting everything to it, I think you can just break it down and rebuild it, and I think it'll start connecting to it, right? Let's see. No, actually not. I don't know. That's kind of strange. Because I've seen people be able to just go ahead and be like, whoa, what is all this crap? I don't remember all this stuff being here. Anyway, so it says the landing gear is connected, but that's because it's on the bottom of the cockpit. So of course the landing gear will show, I guess. Yeah, show block and terminal there. Yeah, I don't know why the other items aren't holding on. We might have to just go ahead and, like I said, start pulling this ship apart piece by piece and rebuilding it. I mean, it's not like this is too hard to rebuild. I can rebuild this in a matter of minutes. Oh yeah, here's our ore detector here. Do we have that unlocked yet? I don't know if we actually do. We do not. A store? That's kind of useless. We don't really need that, but yeah, the ore detector. Let's see, what do we need to do to unlock that? I think it's under this stuff, is it? No. Okay, it's under the refinery. Once we make the refinery, we'll be good. Apparently we can make a drill already, which is good. We actually might want to do that. We don't need wind turbines anymore. If ever you want to just get yourself another area to build stuff, you can just hit Control 2 and you'll pull up another toolbar and you can put everything you want into it. So if ever you find yourself being like, I want to build a ship from scratch, you can always go, okay, let's do, oh, I don't know. Boop, boop. Say you want to build a rover, for example, which is like a wheeled vehicle. I would recommend getting the, I don't know, do we have it unlocked yet? The 5x5 wheels? Probably do, I just gotta find it. There it is. So you want to get these 5x5 wheels, so you'd go right and left. You would want to get some armor blocks. And then, like, you don't really need the landing gear. The landing gear is only necessary for you to start building. Like, I'll give you an idea of what you would want to do to build. So, to get started building, what you would want to do is you want to come over here to your base. So, Let's put this back to the black that I was going to use. Whoops. There we go. Before, so we can match our colors. Oh, I don't have any steel plate. There we go, that should be enough. So you put a steel plate here. Okay, whatever. You'll take your landing gear. Sorry, I was trying to hit one again and hit escape instead. And what you want to do is once you have it, you want to slowly drag it towards the base and then drop it. And what it'll do is it'll lock onto the base as if it's, you know, connected, like already built and locked. So you can't move it, which is good. That's what you want. And then what you'll start to do to build from it, you'll take your light armor blocks, aim on the top of it, and start building upwards a little bit here. And then outwards. And that will hopefully give you enough space so that you can reach the shipbuilding part. And you can just build it out like this. And what I recommend is how you want to build it is kind of do something like that. Take your cockpit, which I don't know if I'll be able to place it because I don't have any interior plates. But let's see. Oh my god, this is like, so there we go, like that. So now you have your cockpit in the air. And the reason why this is good, sorry, I'm trying to delete everything and go back to this, is so that you can go ahead and start building this from here. And what you would probably want to do from here is the cockpit has 2 little holes on the back. Now, depending on what you want this ship to be carrying, you want to determine yourself based off of that. If you want it to carry large based items, you got to start building from this bottom piece here. And what that would mean is you would have to take, let's see, what is this item? That's the basic assembler. Like say you want to make a mining rover. What you would want to do is you want to take the drill and put the drill on the front. Which would probably be right here, I think is where that connector is for that. Let's see. Let's see, if you do that, if you want to make it a mining, you're going to connect the drill to this little square here. And if you connect it to that square, what will happen is only ore will be able to pass through that, which makes sense because you're digging with it. So obviously, that's all you want to go through it. But say you wanted to put something later on, which I can show you. Like say you're wanting to make a rover that's capable of building stuff. These 2 items here, I'll show you real quick by coming into this. These 2 items, each of them have a large thing on the back. And there's a reason for that. The large thing makes it so that everything it grabs, regardless of size, can pass through it. But the problem with the cockpit is that just doesn't work. Because unfortunately with the cockpit the way it is, that small thing at the front cannot hold anything. So what you would have to do with this is you'd have to put this either on the bottom of the cockpit if you want the cockpit to hold the items, or you would have to build something like a cargo container, which has, you know, 2 options for you for big, right there and there. And then it can connect with the small. Now, the problem with the small is that prevents you from only being able to carry ore through those. And unfortunately, if you're trying to build a ship that's capable of building stuff for you, you just won't be able to. Like, you're just going to end up finding yourself saying, I have steel plates, for example, which is I know something that can't go through that small, It's like, I have steel plates, why won't they go through that? Well, the game considers a steel plate to be big enough where it can't fit through that. Despite the fact that most of it is based off of the weight limit of it, but unfortunately, if you were trying to build something like a ship that's capable of welding up this entire structure I have in the background, you wouldn't be able to. It just would not happen if you tried to use the small area on it. Now, say for example you did want to use this system, like the medium cargo container, as your connection for that. Could you do that? Yes, but you would probably want to make an area away from your cockpit, and let me show you how to do that. So what you would do for that is you would say, okay, here's my cockpit. I know that there's connectors here and here, so I want to build like this. And then we'll come back to 3, grab the cargo container, put it up against that, which I don't think I'm going to be able to build it right now. So I actually might have to fly up here and might actually have to make one more block away. Hold on. For this. Don't worry if you do that. You can pick it right back up by using your grinder. And go like that, and then grab your cargo container and flip it so it's like this. Now unfortunately we don't have interior plates, so we can't place it, but that's how you would place it, is like this. If you wanted to make this which I would recommend a flying vehicle for like using a grinder and or a welder. So you can do it like that, and that will work, and you don't have to worry about the tiny connectors at all. Like, you can just use it like this, have it where the cockpit controls it, and everything that goes inside this will be used only for the welder, and you'll be all hunky-dory from then on, or whatever you want, whatever word you want to use for it. So that's an option you have if you want to do it that way, but just know that your tools are only available if you have them in there in your toolbar. So I just spent almost like 20 minutes describing something, but instead of doing more work on the base, but I just really wanted to, tutorialize you guys a little bit. I know there's a guy out there that does way better tutorials than me, but if you find him first, don't worry, you can always come and watch me and just see me screw it up compared to them. But then again, everybody plays differently. As they say, I mean, everybody has a different play style that they like. So find your play style and get it to, and work on there from there. But the reason why you don't want to try to build a ship, for example, from the ground, is because 9 out of 10 times anything that you want to actually put down, for example, like if you try to build a cockpit on the ground, for example, first off, you can't build it in the ground. That'd be stupid. But if you try to just build it like this, it just sits there like that. And if you try to build anything from it, as you can see, since it's on the ground, you're gonna start having issues. Like, for example, you try to build this on there, you can't. It's just unplaceable because there's not enough room. So that's why it's better for you to go ahead and build a little target like this, little stationary platform for you to start building off of. Now, since I'm going to be using the dropship as my building option, I'm just going to get rid of all of this here for now. And the best way to do that is just to start shaving it all away like so. And the good thing is, you get all those resources back. So if ever you find yourself being like, oh no, I built something, am I not going to get the resources back? Well, unlike 7 Days to Die, you get everything back. So you have nothing to worry about. But one thing I do recommend is be very careful when you drill stuff away. Because let's go back into this thing again, where we build the, you know, little landing gear, right? So let's put it back on our little area here. And watch what happens when I dig out from underneath it. It falls, right? Now, if you had a ship attached to that, what's going to happen to that ship? Well, it's going to fall with it, obviously. I learned this the hard way, and that's why I'm trying to tell you about it now. Because one thing that I've seen a lot of people joke about in this game, and I've actually been guilty of it, and that's why I laugh about it now, instead of be like, oh yeah, that could be really terrible, is because if you're building a ship and you accidentally break out the block underneath that landing gear, that ship's gonna fall over and have to be rebuilt. And that's never fun. So don't let that happen to you. You know, be careful when you're grinding stuff down. Like if you make a mistake and you want to grind stuff down so that you can fix it, just be very, very cautious about how you do it. Actually, I wonder something here. I wonder if I convert this to a ship, because that isn't like option somewhere in here. There's supposed to be like an option where if it thinks a grid is like stable or whatever, like stuck to the ground, yeah, so you have this convert to ship option. But I think because it is the respawn planet pod, I don't think it'll let you do that. That's probably why. I know that if you remove the survival kit from this, it makes it easier to make it into a ship, but you don't want to do that right away, because if you remove the survival kit and you can't build one, for example, if you die, you have to start all over, and that hurts. So yeah, think carefully before you do anything like that, and just realize that sometimes you're gonna make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. You can always come back from it some way or another. So yeah, but as of right now, we do got to figure out what we're gonna do with this ship here to make it work. And my main thought is that I'm probably just going to try and rebuild everything on here, like grind it completely down and rebuild it, and see if that starts making the grid to this with that. Now, oops, hit the wrong button. Is that possible to do with this? Yes, it actually is possible to build from this and get everything on here that you would want to get on here, because all you're going to be putting on it is these thrusters. And then if you want to add wheels afterwards, you can activate the thrusters, fly up enough so that you can build the wheels and then put wheels on if you want to do that. For whatever reason, if you want to make it so that if you run out of fuel enough that you have to rely on wheels, because wheels don't take much energy to run, you can always put like a couple wheels, maybe like, I would say maybe here and here. That could be good enough to get you back to your base. Well, as long as you have a path to get back to your base, especially if your base is like mine, where you only want to drive this direction. But yeah, that's an option you have, obviously. And since it's nighttime, I just lost my mining site. If you want to keep that from happening, you can always come in here, type that GPS command I showed you, and just say mining site, so you can't lose it, you know? And it'll be right there for you, so you know exactly where you need to go. Whew. Well, I just wasted a whole episode basically doing some explanation for you, when I could have been making more progress on the base. But I'll just go ahead off screen and do like get these you know, wind turbines up and running, and I'll also place down where I'm gonna put the refinery. I think I can do that right now, right? Or do I not have any steel plate? I have steel plate, good. So we can put down the refinery. Let's see, where do we want to put this? It has two sides on it, right? I say let's put it here. Don't worry about that performance issues thing. You're gonna see that a lot. Even people who have like the most effective computer have said that they've had problems with that. So if you see that pop up when you're placing stuff and all that, don't worry about it. It's okay. It probably doesn't like that I'm recording and playing at the same time. But yeah, see, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get those at least somewhat crafted so that we got that going for us in a little bit. And then we'll move the survival kit probably right next to this tower right here, and that's probably where we'll put it. And a good way to make sure that we can reach it is to get the slope and just place that down there. So that way we can just walk right up to it. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye.